Welcome back to Ramp and Splash, the gaming channel of laughing, learning, absurdity, and skill building. We are continuing with our Final Fantasy VIII commentary track. I mean, normally when they do a commentary track, you bring the stars back into some recording studio, right? And they sit and they watch the movie, and it's 2 hours, and you get to hear a couple of stories. But this is going to be a 40 to 50 hour endeavor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're not even halfway through yet.
It's a long game. They don't make them like this anymore.
They don't. You can speedrun it. There are ways to finish it in like 10 hours.
Yeah.
But, we're not. That's not what we're doing here. Speaking of getting into it, you wanna get us started here? Thanks. Here we go.
Yes, we're going to be learning about video production and parenting today. I have a baby next to me on the ground here, not on the floor, but like in a little bouncy seat. So
yeah,
he's napping right now. But if you hear like a baby squealing, it's not super good audio coming from the game. It's
there are no giant baby enemies in Final Fantasy VIII, actually.
Yes, no giant hell babies like from Akira or something.
Well,
there's some pretty weird stuff.
Norg is not unlike a giant baby.
A giant hell baby. I still don't remember anything about him.
That's fine.
I think I said that last time, and I'm still like a complete mental blank on what Norg is.
I cannot wait to hear what you think of my performance of Norg.
I can't even imagine in fiction who he is because it doesn't make any sense. Sid is supposed to be the headmaster of the garden, so wouldn't a student at this garden for so many years know who this thing is?
It actually makes a lot of sense when you get into it. And we're going to follow it up with a few episodes that are I just recorded a few episodes that are just combat. So we're going to have plenty of time to discuss.
Oh, yeah. Yikes. Oh, yeah, that was a back attack. I mean, that was double damage. But still. Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Renoir needs to catch up on some of her draws. So this will be a good chance to do that.
Yeah. It is, even though I try to draw twice in every combat, it is easy to fall behind.
Yeah.
On drawing. You can find yourself at about this point in the game with not enough magic.
Yeah. Most people kind of cheese it and like have just 3 sets of spells, and you're not doing that. So that's part of it.
Yeah.
But oh boy.
Yeah, that worked real well.
The most tedious ability.
Does this wake someone up? Sometimes I wish there was better articulation about what counts as a magic attack and what counts as a physical attack.
Yeah. The death animation's still really good. I mean, I think like 80% of the death animations in this for the monsters are unique and cool.
The thing that strikes me is that I can't understand why they weren't better in other games.
Right.
So like in
games
7
after this, like
right in
9,
7 they didn't have a choice because they just
they
just became polygons and evaporated.
Yeah.
But in 9, there's some. I think they tried to make it go quickly. I think they were just too fast in 9.
As much as I like 9, I don't remember much about the battle animations being that good. The player characters' battle animations is really good.
Very good. In fact, I would say those are better than this game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few images that stand out in my mind. One of them was, I think my favorite character to use in that was Freya. the like rat creature, who is a lancer. She's like a dragoon in like a Final Fantasy IV sense.
Yeah.
Every time she readies an attack, she's normally holding.
So long. Hurry up.
Oh man, this guy's gonna get wrecked. He's just a professor. Okay, like before today, he was just worried about getting his, I don't know,
Getting
essay
homework in on time.
Faust published or something.
Oh yeah. Freya.
Every time Freya readies an attack, like before you enter a command, she's holding the spear in two hands, like out in front of her in like a defensive posture.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as you ready a fight command, she's like wheels the spear around, like to the side and behind her.
Yes.
And the animation is so cool. It's so smooth and cool and stylish and good. Like, and you get that every time you do something. Well, every time you attack. And every character in that game has stuff like that. I mean, it's really special.
Yeah.
But I feel like they put the same detail into every monster in this game. It's crazy.
I think I just had a memory. Doesn't Zidane have two sets of animations for whether he's using two knives or a double-handed, double-bladed thing?
Yeah, there was like this period in the very late 90s, in like 99 and 2000, where like
Sid's followers die.
Still awesome voice acting.
Bag of trenchcoat full of snakes.
Oh, come on.
So the last two of them, one of them came at me with a Grendel, the other came at me with a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and then this final one is like, no.
Listen, I don't know.
You come over here.
I'm not tenured, all right? Don't pay me enough for this. I don't even have bennies.
Oh, God.
I'm an adjunct.
He's adjunct. Oh,
they just
God.
gave. I was an adjunct professor for 10 years, by the way. For those of you that watch this and don't know, this is me right here.
Oh,
like, listen, I will teach my little heart out, but they literally don't pay me enough to drag monsters into the campus. Like, what the hell? Like, I had to pay for this monster out of pocket. This is all I could afford. Anyway, yeah, no, Zidane had two knives and had like a Darth Maul kind of like two-bladed stick thing.
Right.
But like the main character in Chrono Cross in the same year had the same weapon. So there's like a year in like 99 or 2000 where like Squaresoft was obsessed with.
I mean, let's be fair. There's at least 3 lines in this game that are directly ripped from Star Wars. Yep. Not to mention character names and all that stuff.
Somebody just watched The Phantom Menace and was like, you know what? We need more of that character that we didn't learn anything about.
Or oh, God. He, when in the cartoons, Darth Maul comes back, and he's a pretty cool character.
I have no doubt that's possible.
Decides that his best way of getting revenge on the Jedi is to join the gangsters, the various crime families in the galaxy. Sure. And so he takes over a crime family. It's pretty rad.
So after Phantom Menace?
Yeah, he manages to survive. He crawls his way out of the sewer system.
The top half of his torso.
The top half of his torso.
Crawl its way out.
He's a little bit insane. He gets taken to a garbage dump planet as refuse.
Oh.
And some scrapper on that planet builds him artificial robot legs.
True. Okay.
And then he goes mad because he's stuck there for 15 years or something. While Anakin comes back as like a 20-year-old and finds him. Anyway.
Oops. That's kind of rad. I don't know.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty rad.
Wish we got a little bit of that in, I don't know, Phantom Menace, instead of like a character that spoke one line and then
he did have a cameo in Solo, and when when Solo was going to be a trilogy of movies, that was the original plan. He was going to be the villain in the second or third one, and then it didn't make enough money, so they scrapped it.
Weird. Star Wars, the Let's Play. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't have a problem with Solo. It was the only way it was disappointing is that it wasn't Rogue One again, because that was real cool and good.
Yeah.
But I kind of like that pattern though, is like do a mainline Star Wars movie one year and then do a like Elseworlds one or whatever, a like flashback one the next year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're gonna spam out Star Wars movies every year, you might as well, I don't know, have some kind of pattern, I guess.
I would be fine with a totally new, like, I was a little disappointed at how linear the main story is. That like okay, this is a big galaxy. Can we see some other stuff now?
There are single lines in some of those movies that I'm like, whoa, there's at least a whole movie in that line, if not a trilogy.
That's
and
right.
we never see anything as cool as that in the prequels.
You're not wrong.
I haven't even seen episode 9.
Galbadian missiles may be heading this way.
Haven't taken my medicine yet.
I have so much to say about that. I actually, I'm writing a whole series of essays about why I think it's bad. There's a whole genre of YouTube video about why episode 9 is bad. He's been there all along. I haven't watched them because I want to write my own series of videos.
It's weird because I didn't mind episode 8. It wasn't like great, but it wasn't horrendous. I don't know.
I really liked it.
The only thing I thought was kind of weird was like, is it really knowing what we know about insurgencies and like ideological movements on the left or the right?
Yeah.
Is it realistic that literally every rebel in the galaxy is whittled down to like one convoy of ships? Because that was dumb.
So this is a consistent issue that I have with Star Wars and its fans. I got into a brief disagreement with my brother about this on Thanksgiving.
Oh no.
I don't like how cramped Star Wars feels. It's a big galaxy and like but the story feels like it's happening off in a corner. Yeah. And I was saying that at the end of Return of the Jedi, when they go from planet to planet, showing everybody celebrating, the Emperor's dead. Let's party, right? I like that. I don't think that it was executed very well. Yeah. But it needed that moment of like, hey, this is a big deal. And my brother's like, no, I don't care about what's happening to anybody else. I only care what's happening to Luke. And I'm like,
I care the least what's happening to Luke. I mean, that's why I was excited about Solo, right? It was like, they made a movie about the best character. Right. Yeah. Or the best two characters, really.
Chewie.
Like Lando's the shit.
Well, like, Chewie is the best character. Then Han, and then Lando. Yeah. He's waiting for you. There's a story happening here, speaking of which.
Yes.
I'll go tell everyone to...
General Zhu, or Commander Zhu, is... we heard earlier that she's like the de facto commander of the Loyalist people. Yeah. So...
Yep. Sir. Zhu has told me about the missiles. The intercom is down, so we can't announce the order to evacuate. Shu, Raijin, and Fujin are taking care of that. Oh. I got the wrong voice there. Assist them, and then evacuate. What is on your mind? But I have a lot to report. You can tell me later. But you might be dead later. Do you have a problem with that, Squall? Yeah, but what are you gonna do? Sir, what are you going to do? I'm going to stay here and see this to the end. After all, this place is like my home. No, you can't. Just come with us, please. You can always rebuild this place. I don't think that's a good idea. You can rest assured. I'm just going to try a little something. There may be a way to save the garden.
Yikes.
Against missiles? But how? Okay. I'm a little too old for this. Sir, I'd like to handle whatever it is that you were planning. And why is that? I don't know, because you might screw it up. I don't want to do more, because I want to do more than just announce the evacuation. Because this place is important to me too. Because I want to find out your plan, because this is my home. There's too many reasons. You know, I don't know why. Who cares? My feelings have nothing to do with it, sir.
That's really good.
Right?
I really like that we get his internal monologue.
Yes, yes. Corstus was right.
Because,
You do have a hard time. He just
Quistis
cycled through
is-
6 emotions, and then...
even in absence, Quistis is still the best character.
You're right. You're right. This building used to be a shelter, long before it was remodeled into the garden as we know it. Use that key to open the lock on the elevator. Opening the lock will give you access to the MD level.
What?
Another acronym that has no explanation in this game. MD level, there is some kind of a control system. It was used when this place was still a shelter, so I've never seen it. And I have no idea what it does.
But you have the key? What are you... Jesus.
That it was used for the shelter, so it might prove effective against the missiles. And that's what I'm betting on.
Boy, that's a hard bet.
Yep. Sounds pretty far-fetched, but I guess it's better than doing nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. We'll find the control system.
I mean,
And check it out.
the game theory might say, like, well, if you are personally committed to staying in the garden,
Yeah.
it's literally better than doing nothing, because doing nothing means you're just get annihilated by missiles. So
Yes. Yep.
even if there's nothing down there, who cares? Like,
I do sort of think that, like, if it's a shelter,
yeah, it's a calculated
that
chance to take.
it's a calculated chance, but if it is a shelter, he should be going with them, because usually how shelters work is everyone goes
Yeah.
into the basement.
It's like yeah, and you hear all that dialogue and you imagine, like, okay, a bomb shelter, sure. There's ICBMs coming this way. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. But yeah, he's just gonna hang out topside and get nuked. I don't think they're nukes, but still.
So one of the things that is happening in this section of the game is that, okay, let's back up. At the beginning of the game, Squall has an inner monologue, and you get his thoughts, and then he never says them, right?
Now he is
thinking
saying them in, like, he's kind of inching his way toward expressing them. Right?
Yes,
like,
there were 2 times in that section where he thought a thing and then said the thing that he was thinking.
Yeah.
And so right now his thoughts are starting to align with what he says. And then later in the game he just starts saying things.
Yeah.
Right? So he goes from a purely internal character, and now he's in this transition and he's going to become an external character.
Yeah.
Which is just a beautiful thing that you can only do when you have 40 hours of storytelling.
Yeah.
Right?
And there's both events and characters that draw him out.
Yes.
I mean, there's one character in particular that draws him out. We've already started to see that happen.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the events of him becoming a leader and a self-fulfilled warrior, like somebody with I wouldn't say ambitions, like he's not an ambitious person, but like somebody with goals, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Even if the goals are given to him by somebody else. Yeah. It's really neat. I mean, that's what people do, right? They're kids. We make jokes about them being child soldiers, but they're 18.
They're literally going through the process of finding out who they are.
When I was an 18-year-old college freshman, I never spoke up in class. Are you kidding me? Like, I'd leave that to the social butterflies and whatever, but like, they wouldn't be asking questions that I would want to ask.
Do you remember in college when it was the non-traditional students who asked all the questions, and we all made fun of them? God, right. Would you listen to this guy? He won't stop asking questions.
Oh yeah.
And now I'm almost 40 years old, and I'm thinking, why the fuck didn't I ask more questions?
Yeah. No, and speaking as somebody who taught college, taught collegiate English for 10 years.
Yeah.
Those students are really valuable. I mean, sometimes they're goobers and they'll like derail discussions and go into some weird tangent or whatever. But most of the time they're not. Most of the time they're like, you know, they don't say it this directly, but they're basically saying, listen, I know why I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm a grown ass adult. I'm self-fulfilled. I know what I want, and I want an answer about this thing. Like, yeah.
Right.
Love those students.
Well, we spend a lot of time in the K-12 education system telling students that school is them having to live up to something, which is not what education is. Education is a service that we provide to you, right? Yeah. And it's not until you're a grown-up and you have to pay for it that it starts to click that way.
Yep.
Yeah, I was running around that tiny elevator because the hitbox for that little panel was really hard to find. You have to be standing in exactly the right spot to open it.
Not to work blue here, but the ladder animation for this is pretty funny. with Renoir head of Squall. Where his head is like up her dress. Like, pretty good. I mean, she's wearing shorts. It's not like
it's just it's not
or
a
whatever,
clean.
But it's funny.
Not all the animations are good, but they're not clean.
Yeah.
I mean that in multiple ways.
That animation there might be the only time we ever see him use that. It's just animate Squall doing that.
Doing a squall.
Just for one thing.
Yep. Yeah. An oil stratum. Watch for enemies weak against fire around here. If you junction fire elemental magic, battles should be much easier. We have the elemental attack junctioning ability. If we have it, we can junction magic to increase the strength of our physical attacks against that magic's element. For example, if you junction fire, when you choose attack... I got to this point and realized that I didn't want to read this, and it was like, do I have to keep reading? Against fire. Junctioning magic to the... No. Thank you. Okay. It's a stealth tutorial. They tricked me into reading a tutorial.
Also, it should be noted, you are 20 hours into this game, Glenn. You're like 15 at least. Yeah. And the game's still like, hey, hold on. Did you get this? Yeah, it's like I got it like 10 hours ago.
In fact, there is one of those tutorials for elemental junctioning. We've already seen it.
There should be some smart ass comment after you choose like, no, I don't want to go over that again.
Yeah.
Irvin should be like, listen, dude, I know how to use Dragon's Breath rounds. Like, I know what you're talking about.
Don't tell me my job. This is a weird little mini game. I'm pretty sure there's no way to open it until you have all three characters trying. And so it's a fake mini game to teach Squall the lesson of teamwork. I'm curious if you read it the same way.
Yeah, because you're just mashing square as fast as you can in the space of 10 seconds.
Yep.
Yeah. That's got to be it.
They don't comment on it. Like, they
Right.
don't say, "Oh, we needed all three of us to do that." It just moves on. But it's this little moment in the game where got noise outside my window. It's this moment in the game where it's just a demonstration that teamwork is necessary to play the game.
Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah, when he said down below, he really meant it. It's also strange that he has the term oil stratum. Oil stratum.
Right. What does that mean? Is it like an old oil rig? You're not like so far down in the crust of the earth that you're getting you're like in the like crude.
Or are we? Or are we? I don't know. Do most cities have a level? Is it like, it's like Neverwhere, where there's the city above, and then there's the sewers, and then there's a magical world, and then underneath that there's an oil field in the ground.
Right.
It's full of machinery.
Yikes. Get some screws.
Oh god, I need screws.
You still haven't gotten that many screws.
No, and we haven't upgraded weapons yet. This whole section.
Okay, it's only been 20 hours. It's fine. I mean, junctioning really is like 90% of your power-ups in this. I mean,
yes.
The weapons are important, in particular Squall's for limits.
For his limit breaks, yep. Everybody
else's limits you get other ways, but his, I think you only get through upgrades. Whoa!
Yes. Yep.
14, huh?
Well, they give you more. Like I said, I think I said this last time.
Draw points.
They give you more if it's a one-time draw point. Like, you can never come back here. So.
Yeah. God, that's bananas.
It's also, I gotta say, kind of a cool structure. This is like, I don't know, it reminds me kind of Doctor Who. A dead end.
Yeah.
Especially 1970s Doctor Who. I'm up again. So, like, where does it go? Looks like it's connected to that room. So, Squall, now what? Come on, we're all going. What else can we do? This ladder's kinda crummy. You think we'll be alright? Alright. I'll go take a look. You two wait here.
All right. Renoir, you're far and away the lightest. So
you should go. This is so good.
Yikes.
Come on.
Third time we've seen that used. That's awesome.
So good. I gotta say, even the broken glass is just great.
Yeah.
It just looks good.
It's very 1970s Doctor Who or Mist.
Or Mist. I was gonna say, yes. Yeah.
Yep. I was just talking to somebody a couple days ago that has worked with the artist, the lead artist for Myst.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really neat. Worked with him on a bunch of like art projects throughout the 2000s.
Wow. After that collision. So I can't go down this way. Squall, are you okay? Yeah. Gee whiz. That sure was close, huh?
I love the options.
Yeah, but this is no time to be relieved. The missiles are on their way. Yeah, it's funny. This is a great little touch where it's not clear where you have to go, so they actually have a blinking green light.
Yep.
To let you know, like, oh, this is the switch.
Down. This place is huge.
It's huge. They're, I don't know, 20 stories beneath the earth right now?
I don't remember any of this.
Good.
I know what's going to happen, ultimately, but I don't remember any of this.
Good. I'm so excited.
I feel like my memories are just of the, like, bones of the plot, but not the connective tissue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and I played this game, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, and I had totally forgotten that Renoir is the daughter of the musician.
general.
Yeah. And the general. The general and the pop star.
yeah.
So in the rest of the game, the flan are weak to a random element. But here in the
Here they're
basement,
probably weak against fire.
they're all weak against fire, yeah. Yep, do it, Glenn. Do it. Do it. I'm trying to decide here whether I should cast
Ooh.
if they are actually weak against fire. And they are.
That hit animation for the flan, by the way, really good.
Blurp, blurp, blurp.
Just like
It's like a weeble. It wobbles, but it won't fall down. Oh, it's full of shell.
seven AP.
7.
Whoa.
Ooh.
I wonder if that's from the flans or from that spooky little thing that.
I think the flans are 3 each, and the little zombie guy is 1.
Whoa. 4 full lives. Junction's better than anything else that you have.
I mean, it's in the name. Full life.
Right. But that gets at like how broken this game can get by like disc
Yeah.
3 when you're like,
Yeah.
got 100 full lives. I just have 9,999 HP. It's just like it
I mean,
gets out of hand.
I have so many good things to say about this game, obviously. It is not a balanced game. And
No,
and I kind of think that's okay because I feel like it's
Yeah.
more of a sandbox game.
right.
It's really like here's a system,
It's-
go to town.
It's not. I mean, it isn't balanced in the sense that like combat is fair for the monsters or whatever necessarily, but it is balanced in that you get what you pay for. If you just hauling around 100 full lives isn't easy.
No.
Like you have to work to get it. You have to
Yes.
be either diligent and kind of adventurous in trying to find battles to draw it from. You have to like
Yeah.
look for it and then sit there and do it.
Yeah.
Or you have to be resourceful with all the like item systems.
Right.
I mean, it's
And that's an exploration in and of itself, you know.
Right.
I mean, it's a menu based exploration, but that's part of RPGs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like you're rewarded proportionately for the work that you do. I think that's totally fine.
Yes, I agree.
I would rather a game let me do that than not. Than cling to some like predetermined balance.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of whoa, holy crap, that thing hit like a truck.
It is real hard. I think that it is a little frustrating that there was not a sequel using the same system or the same setting, but
Yeah.
because I think the mistakes are kind of obvious. You played it through a few times. You could make a more balanced version of this game that has all those good things, being a little less broken.
Yeah.
It makes me sad that it's not something that they revised and came back to.
But that's the kind of the tragedy of all of these. Holy crap! You just stole $4,000 worth of oil from that thing.
Isn't that how they're drilling for oil in the Arctic Circle? Aren't they
Sure,
going
you
to
gotta kill
polar
these
bear-
monsters?
Yeah.
It's gross as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? That's
Revision.
the tragedy of all these Final Fantasy games, right? Is that like with rare exception, we don't ever revisit any of them, right? It's just kind of like a anthology. So
Yeah. I mean, the job system keeps coming back because it's a
Yeah.
good system.
yeah, it's good and popular.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done a Let's Play of 5 for like a charity like challenge thing on the forums, and that was hard, but it was doable. Like, and I'm not
Yeah.
even like a seasoned veteran of the game, but I'd played it a couple times, so I knew the system well enough to do it. But it was like it's a solo single class run
Oh,
where
yeah, see, I
pick
can't.
one job.
No.
Oh yeah,
No.
it was rough. I picked Ranger, and
Ranger.
yeah, it worked pretty well. Ranger in that game has S-shot, which is like a quad attack.
Okay.
So once you get that, you can pair it with like that game's all about knowing the items really well. Like I had to research like, okay, S-shot, you do half as much damage, but you attack 4 times. So you're doing double damage.
Dude,
but
the dog just fucking missed. I didn't realize that.
I didn't even know that could
when
happen.
when I played it the first time, I did not notice that he missed. That sucks. Just because she's blind, it doesn't mean the dog's blind. Keep going. Tell me more about.
FF5 is much more about the items than like this game or a lot of the other Final Fantasy games, where like, so S-shot halves your damage for each hit, but you hit 4 times. You end up doing twice as much damage as your regular attack, but it's just spread out.
Okay.
But each hit counts as a trigger in any weapon that has like a hit trigger. So it almost starts becoming like a Magic the Gathering like combo kind of thing, where like you take a weapon that you don't even care how much damage it does. Every time it hits, there's a 25% chance it casts Flare.
Good.
And the Flare's damage isn't halved. It just goes off. So yeah, it can get bananas if you get the right items and stuff. It was a lot of fun, but I think the job class system has been revisited a million times, right? Because it was like,
Yeah.
there's tactics, which some people swear is the best Final Fantasy game. There is an argument to be said for that, I guess. 10-2 used a job
10-2.
class system, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
There's one other.
But there's a ton of tactics games, and they all use
Yeah.
a form of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the OG Tactics is still the best one of that series.
The Final Fantasy IX is a really good game, but when you think about the system, it's just not what you remember about it, right? You equip weapons and armor to your characters.
It's fairly linear, isn't it?
And then as they gain AP, they gain abilities. But the weapons and armor are specific to each character.
Yeah.
And so you either find the weapon and get the AP and get the ability, or you don't.
Right.
Like there's very little customization. I think the
weapons are specific to the characters. Everything else though is interchangeable. Like
Okay.
the accessories are interchangeable. So like the ribbon in that game will teach like Steiner something different than it will teach like the.
Oh, okay.
And I think there's like light and heavy armor.
Yep.
So like Steiner and others whose names I don't remember can use like the heavy armor, but like Dagger can't and Vivi can't. Yeah, but like even then, like a robe that teaches Vivi Firaga will teach Dagger Curaga. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's coming back to me. But they basically have their own ability set, and you either get the complete ability set by the end of the game or you don't.
Yeah, it's a lot of AP.
Yeah,
it is fairly linear. There's not a ton of customization.
Mm-hmm. You have to hurry.
Yeah,
it might be coming any minute now. But that game is really strong in terms of story and character and the aesthetic.
Yeah.
And the combat is fun to do. I remember liking the combat. It's just the advancement system just wasn't that interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like this. I don't know. I've had like Magic the Gathering on the mind for the last week because of Commander Legends coming out. But
yeah.
I think of this part of the conversation about what I think about like deck building versus playing Magic.
Yeah.
Where like sometimes I'm in the mood to make a deck, and sometimes I'm more in the mood to play.
Yeah.
And I'm usually I enjoy deck building more than playing the game. And I feel like this game, like Final Fantasy VIII, is the deck building of Final Fantasy, and 9 is more like playing.
Yes.
Like the enjoyment of that isn't in the back end, not like navigating menus and what you're doing right now, but like in fighting the actual combats.
The one thing I will say about Final Fantasy VII is that there is a lot of 2 or 3 materia combos. Yeah. And a lot of that game is picking 3 materia that work really well together and then breaking a character in a certain direction.
And picking items that let you do that.
Yes. Yep.
Because there's some choices, especially early in the game, where it's like there's a really strong weapon, but it only has like 2 slots and they're not linked.
Yeah.
Or 2 linked slots and I need 3 or something like that.
Yep.
I wish 7 challenged the kind of back end character development a little bit more by forcing the player to make hard decisions. Like it's maybe like a third of the way through the game. There's a weapon you can get for I almost said Squall. Cloud.
Yep.
Called a nail bat.
Yeah.
And it is literally a bat with a nail in it.
Yeah.
And it has no materia slots, but it hits like a truck. But it doesn't hit hard enough for long enough. Like it's very quickly outpaced.
Yes.
But I feel like if they had a version of the nail bat late game that was maybe not like the ultimate weapon, but was like second only to the ultimate weapon in like
that's interesting.
the amount of damage it does. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
It makes you rethink how you develop the characters. Be like, maybe I'll have this one guy in my party that just sucks at materia, and he's just gonna hit like a Mack truck.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna roll my dice that way. He'd still have materia from his like armor slot or whatever, but
I feel like 8 is kind of a progression on 7 in terms of like collecting fiddly bits and arranging them, which we were just saying we love because we're the deck builders.
Right.
And then 9 has kind of a linear for each character. One of the things that disappoints me is that 10, 12, and 13 all have basically the same system, which is there's a game board, and you move around the game board collecting power-ups. Yes. And there are occasional detours, and your only choice really is like, do I take the detour now to collect these extra abilities? Or do I...
Like 12 had a lot more ability to move around than 10, but it was still mostly linear.
It was, that part of it was mostly linear, but 12 had the advantage of having so much customization in programming the characters for combat, right?
That was a real fun part.
So you'd
part that a lot of people complained about. I really liked.
Well, yeah, so the game board is pretty linear, but what it does is it unlocks fiddly bits, which you can then tinker with.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I think in 12, like we were talking shit about Final Fantasy X half a dozen episodes ago or whatever, but when we were doing that, we were talking about there being like one character in 10 that was truly like customizable from the beginning of the game.
Yeah, it
was Kimahri.
Kimahri, yep.
And there is a version of him in 12, and I think, if I remember correctly, it's Fraud, the like bunny girl, the like the co-captain of the air pirates.
Does she have more options than other characters? I don't
She does. Because of where she starts on the license grid, she can go in any direction. And it's even more than Kimahri, because what happens with Kimahri is he starts in the central wheel of the sphere grid in 10.
Yeah.
And there's 4 ways out of that area. Each one requires a lock.
Yep.
When you get him, like as part of the story event, when he comes in the party, you get a key to that lock, but you only get one. So you pick one direction. You go like, okay, I can have him go towards Orin's area and he'll be a beat stick, or I can have him go toward Lulu's area and he'll be like Black Mage or whatever. With Fran in 12, you can go in multiple directions at once. You just spread out, so you're less powerful at one thing, but more diverse.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, she was like my go-to character in 12 because I had her spec'd to be like effect spells, like time magic and green magic and stuff like that. So everybody else was like doing melee and direct damage, so I didn't need to control them as much. So I could program them, take control of her, and cast spells from afar. And then I had a broad range of like schools of spellcasting. She had a little bit of white magic, a little bit of black, a little bit of time, a little bit of green. Yeah. And it worked really well. But I mean, you could just make her a second black mage or make her a second beat stick if you wanted to.
I think it's fun if you can go hard on 2 classes. I think it's most fun, right? Because then you get powerful in each of them, but then you get to combo essentially.
Yeah, I think my party most of the time in 12 was as much as I liked Balthier, I didn't use him in combat that much. I liked his character, but I used Ash and shoot, I don't remember his name. Her like knight errant, the guy with the axes, and I had her spec'd almost the same as him. So they were both like paladins in a D&D sense, where they were like heavies with some healing magic. Yeah. And Fran did everything else. I didn't have a dedicated black mage, and I didn't need it.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, it worked
So
really
it's just
well.
support, 2 tanks and a support.
Every once in a while, I'd run into something where like really huge AoE effects that I was missing, or like a really potent black mage would have really helped. But most of the time, it served me really well.
Okay, here we go. We've pressed the big green button.
Yeah, this is a big deal. This part I remember.
Yeah.
Or at least the results of this part.
Yeah.
And man, each arc of those would kill one of these people. Holy crap. Get out of there, guys.
Also, it's however many decades old.
Right. It just breaks down.
It's like you find a World War II bunker that has a doomsday machine in the basement.
Fun fact, there are still miles, like acres and acres of fields in eastern France that are unoccupied. That the French government has cordoned off because of World War One. The armies of World War II passed through those fields and it still ran into issues.
Didn't go well for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, there's another one of those explosions that looks like an early 90s war footage.
Yep.
Oh.
God, this part's rad.
Oh, we're riding the shockwave.
So you're playing the Terrans in StarCraft now.
There is no... It's hard for me to recreate what it was like in 1999 when I was 17 years old. We're moving. It's hard for me to understand, like... I had no idea that was coming.
Oh, yeah.
There was no warning. Secret.
This is a motherfucking building. There's no reason to know this thing was going to move.
No.
And spoiler, that is going to become your ship.
It is possible that it is possible that it was spoiled for me by the strategy guide, but I kind of don't care. I think I was still pretty surprised. Can you go check? Yes.
Want to play cards first? Let's throw down.
I do still need to play against him. He has some good card. I can't remember which.
He has his own card.
Does he?
Yeah. And it's really good, too.
What's going on? Well, I was hiding for a while, and now all I see is this chaos. Man, I'm really scared. Obviously, you're not, huh? Oh, see? Confident as always.
What the hell is this? Nobody told us this thing could fly.
I feel like that would be me. Running around aimlessly on a catwalk.
What
or that girl right there. Just
I'm gonna stare at the corner.
Oh god.
What the hell were we doing? Sitting around doing nothing while those things were coming at us. Oh, it's so cool! Woohoo, we're flying!
That's right. This part has been barred to us up until now.
Yes.
So good.
Seagulls are a nice touch, I think.
Squall! It's the headmaster. Get back to the bridge on the double.
He's still waiting to play cards with you. He finally found his deck. He's sleeved up and ready to go.
He's trying to play the students for Auntie.
Controls aren't responding. I don't know what to do. We're going to crash into the town of Balam if we don't do something. No way. Can't we do something? Oh man, there's the town. Squall, can you think of anything? No. Squall, do something. We're closing in. Do something. How should I know? God damn it.
I'm really feeling him right now.
Yeah.
Listen, Sid, you are the literal adult in the room. Why don't you do something? Goddamn.
Except he's clearly not a doer. He's a talker,
He's a talker,
and a friendly. Yeah. He's a friendly.
He's an administrator. You know, he doesn't do anything.
No. Oh my gosh. Also, all the people who would know how to do something, he was just fighting a battle with.
Well, sure.
Hold on to something. Well, everyone, a job well done.
Like I planned it that way.
For now.
Where are we heading? We'll drift along for the time being, until we can figure out how to maneuver the garden. So, it looks like we can finally relax for a while. And spend some time considering what to do next.
There's still an insurgency. You didn't get any of those people out.
Well, a lot of people were evacuated.
Well, sure.
And a lot of people came to their senses when the missiles arrived. I think we're coming up on the end of the episode here.
How long has it been since we started moving? There's not much more to do now. We've taken care of all the monsters in garden.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh yeah. I still have to report to the headmaster. There's a lot of things I want to ask about. He's probably still busy, trying to reestablish order in the garden. We're in the middle of nowhere. Man, you know, I am bored. I hate having nothing to do. It gives me time to think.
You know, I actually think this is an opportunity for you to get.
I hope Selfie and the others are all right. Was it wrong for me to let them go? I wonder how Quistis and Zell felt about it. That sorceress. Who is she? Why fire missiles at the garden? Is Cypher ever coming back? I'll get even with him next time.
I mean, I can answer that second question. 'Cause,
Hey. You look so adorable, sleeping like a baby. Come on, get up. Let's go. Go where? Give me a tour of the garden. Is this another one of your orders? No. I just want you to show me around, you know. To get acquainted with the place. Please. Fine. Ooh.
He is still inexplicably not seeing this. It's
Well,
not that
it's
he's not taking the bait. He doesn't appear to see this.
Well, see, I found it inexplicable too until this playthrough when I realized this is just a couple of days after she was she was Cypher's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Right? So she's just getting over the death of her summer fling from the year before.
Right.
Who is someone that Squall is rivals with.
Yeah, I guess the time frame is important. It has been just a few days, I guess.
For them.
Weeks at most. Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
and I think that moment where she's on the landing and the wind is blowing through her hair, I think that's sort of the first glimmer we get that Squall is seeing something inside her.
Yeah.
Okay. Episode's over. We'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye.